Hey, it's Robert Jigula and we are camping at Koorn Coral Bay in the Namakwa National Park. The campsite's about in the middle of the coastal section from north to south, and that's about a 25-kilometer drive from the SANParks reception office. This is one of several coastal campsites in the Namakwa Park, so it's right on the seafront. This is pretty much semi-wilderness, no-frills camping. There's no water here, no electricity, no lighting, a set of Enviro toilets, and a little area where you can set up your braai that's sheltered from the wind, and the wind here can be quite significant. Enviroloos are pretty much long drops, or dry toilets as they're sometimes referred to. Basically, to camp here you need to bring everything with you. You need to bring your water, your food, you need to bring your own showering facility, you need to bring everything that you would need to live for a couple of days or weeks or however long you're staying here. The sites are clearly demarcated, so each site has a little fire pit with a wall around it to protect you from the wind to the extent that that can be done. So those are clearly demarcated, and they're also a fair size and a good distance apart. There are some large families on some of these sites, so people come here with their caravans and a number of people and friends and so on. So the sites can accommodate quite a number of people. I don't know what the maximum number of people is. We'll leave a link below to the SANParks website so you can check that out. But you can accommodate a fairly large party of people per campsite. Also, when you're in your fire pit within the built-up windbreak, you also have a good sense of privacy, so you're quite well sheltered, but you're also quite isolated from the other campsites, which is nice in some respects, but we have noticed that people are really friendly here. It's actually been really fantastic in that respect. There are families that have been camping here for decades on end, and they've been very welcoming, and it's really been a wonderful experience from that point of view. Solar is advisable as well. This is a great place if you've got a solar set up, and like I said, there's no electricity here, so just to charge your batteries and charge your devices. There is absolutely no cell phone signal here, so you will not be able to receive or make calls or receive data. But solar is great because there's no shade, you've got sun the whole day. We've had almost no cloud cover in both times that we've been into the Namakwa National Park. We don't have a solar setup at this time as yet. However, thanks to Marius, one of our neighboring campers, who has supplied us the panel, and that's come really in handy. So really a great thanks to Marius, as well as to all the people on the campsite that we have met that have shared their knowledge with us and have been very welcoming. Basically, the only things that you can buy at the Namakwa National Park reception are water and wood. There's pretty much nothing else there. So if you need to get supplies, you need to go to the nearest town. So you can either drive to Khamis or to Kamiskroon. Both of these are pretty small towns. They're about 50 to 60 kilometers away. Alternatively, the nearest large town is Springbok, which is about 110 kilometers away. Note that getting around is all gravel roads, so even driving out to the nearest towns is a bit of an effort, and it can take you a fair amount of time. So don't be fooled by the 50 to 60 kilometers away. It is still over an hour's drive. There are several sections of the coastal area of the park which have deep sand, and so you do need a 4x4 to get to the coastal campsites, or many of them, and you do need a 4x4 to get from these campsites to the main reception as well. So that does take a fair amount of time to drive from the campsites to the main reception, and then if you're going to exit the camp to go to a town to get supplies, then you've further got to drive on unpaved roads. The sites are serviced daily, and what that means is that the park staff come to your site, remove the ash, do some basic cleaning up, and also service the Enviroloos. They also remove your garbage, which is a nice service to have. Some of these remote campsites in the national parks do not have garbage services, so to speak. So that's a nice thing to have here. They will come and remove your garbage provided that you keep it together. Note that there are no bins on the site, so you have to contain your own garbage. There are a couple of access roads getting into the park and then to the campsites. The road that we followed was from Honderklip Bay, or the Honderklip Bay Gate, and that has a sandy section that is quite deep sand, so you do require 4x4. Other than that, the road to the campsite is very rutted. and so it is quite jarring and rattling driving here to the campsite. So just be aware of that as well. There is a bit of discomfort and it's quite slow going to get from the gate to the campsite. Note that the gates close at 5 p.m. regardless of the season. So make sure you put that into your planning, because it takes a fair amount of time to get to the gates from wherever you're coming generally, because there's quite a bit of unpaved road that you've got to traverse. That gate time, 5 p.m. is specifically for the coastal sections. Now we've seen a number of people here with caravans that have towed their caravans in. There are a couple of roads that don't go through the deep sandy section, so you can tow a caravan into here. That being said, across the sandy sections as well, if you've got an off-road caravan or sufficient towing capacity, then you can get your caravan or trailer through there. But just be warned that there is relatively deep sand and it can be quite heavy going. To book, go to the SANParks website, to the Groenrivier coastal section in particular. I'll leave a link below for your convenience. Now, the Namakwa Park is well known for the flowering season. The coastal sections, they offer quite a variety of things to do. So there's a lot of stuff to do, like hiking, and people bicycle along the beach or along the roads. And this is not a Big Five park, so there aren't big, large predators and that sort of thing. So you can get around on foot and you can jog and you can use your bike and so on. A lot of this is marine protected zone. However, there are designated areas where you can line fish and you can gather shells and that sort of food. Please note that this is very strict and you must have the correct permits on hand to harvest or fish. Besides hiking and fishing, of course, you can do some birding and you can drive around the Namakwa National Park itself to see the various features of the park. Note that one of the important things here is that this is a region of significant biodiversity, especially plant biodiversity. So that's something to look out for and maybe educate yourself a bit so that you appreciate more the sort of biodiversity aspects of this park. Being on the west coast, there's a couple of things that you should be aware of. The wind can be severe. There are days when the wind can howl the entire day into the night or for a couple of days. And that is something that I think takes a bit of getting used to if you're not prepared for it. So a lot of people that are camping here have windbreaks put up, and you've got to make sure that you peg everything down securely. Very securely. There's no shade on the campsites. We're very much out in the Namakwaland area, and the vegetation is entirely low shrubs, so you will not find any trees. You've got to come with your own shade prepared or be prepared to camp in the sun. It's also quite sandy, so sand is going to get everywhere. That's another thing that you've got to take note of. So we, for example, have a porch in front of our tent, which means that basically you can come off the sand, wipe your feet before you go into the tent, or you're going to carry sand into your tent, for example. So sand is an issue, and there are high wind speeds, so you do get a lot of dust. In fact, you get a film of dust on everything. Things I really like about these campsites is that they're right on the seafront, so you have access to a beach where there's almost nobody except the people that are camping around you. So it's very secluded, and you very much get the feeling of having this open, unspoilt area along the seacoast that is almost entirely for you and your enjoyment. So it's great to go to sleep here with the sounds of the ocean and then wake up again with the sounds of the ocean. And there's also beautiful vistas over the ocean itself, with waves crashing onto the rocks and onto the beach. It's a really beautiful and tranquil place to be. Most of the campsites along the coast have a similar setup. So we have camped in Boulder Bay, for example, previously, which is pretty much identical to this site. What type of camper is this for? You need to be 100% self-sufficient. You've got to have your own water, you've got to have your own electricity and lighting if you need electricity, you've got to bring your own food, you've got to bring your own charcoal, although you can buy water and wood from the reception office. It's a good idea to bring your own windbreaks with you. We don't have any remarkable windbreaking. We're quite happy to just camp as we are and use the facilities that are here. It's also a good idea to bring some sort of sun shading that you're going to erect as well, if that's a concern for you. Now, we don't have an elaborate system in that respect. We do have, however, an awning from our vehicle, which is quite nice because that protects you in the midday when the sun is at its zenith. We have noticed that many campers do put up quite an extensive campsite, so windbreaks and shade and so on, and I think that's particularly important if you're going to stay here for a long period of time, for a couple of weeks and that sort of thing. So, quick recap. What is here? there is a fire pit, and there are Enviroloos. No electricity, no fresh water, absolutely no shade. Lots of sunshine, lots of wind. Just to reiterate, you've got to have a 4x4 if you're going to drive to the sandy sections of this coastal area, and you've also got to drop your tire pressure as per standard practice driving through deep sand, and there are boards that will give you some advice on that. So Tinus, thanks for sharing your 40 years of camping here knowledge and your knowledge of the area and all the amazing sights and stuff to see within this coastal area. Also, thanks to Gert and Estelle. Thanks again as well for your knowledge and for the hospitality that you've shown us in the time that we are here. And there are so many people on the campsite, it's impossible to name everyone, but it's really been a beautiful experience, and I think we felt really at home in the few days that we've been here. So would I recommend these campsites? Absolutely, I love them. I love being on the coast, right on the beachfront. It's a really beautiful place to be out in the wild. It is absolutely tranquil. If you're that kind of person, and this is a great place to come camp. I'd like to reiterate though that you have to be completely self-sufficient if you're going to come camp here. Well, I hope you found this informative. If you did, hit the like button, leave some comments below as well, and please subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks to everyone that has subscribed and for your support to the channel. Check out my other episodes as well, and until the next episode, go everywhere, see everything, have a great time.